Hey guys, today on Gray Line Overland we are going to be mounting Mike's new KM3s to his new Battle Born steel beadlocks. He is going from a 15-inch rim to a 17-inch rim, and he is going from a 35-inch tire to a 37-inch tire. So whenever he went up on tire size, he decided it was time for him to move up to the 17-inch wheels. He's a big fan of the steel wheels, so we've gone and he's gotten these Battle Born steel beadlocks. So while they're steel is very strong and durable and everything, they are a very heavy wheel in comparison to aluminum wheel, so keep that in mind. But the cost savings that you get whenever you go with this steel wheel is huge. I mean, it's a lot of difference in cost, so you really save a lot of money, and you do add a little weight to it. I think hold on for that, because we're actually going to check them at the end of the video. You know, your average beadlock setup is usually around 120, maybe 130 pounds. And we're going to have these mounted, and we're going to hold them, get on the scale, and then we're going to get on the scale without them and figure it up and see how much these things actually weigh. So stay tuned for that. But for right now, we're fixing to get started, and I'm going to take the ring off here by taking loose all of these bolts around here, and we're going to get started and we're going to mount this tire. So stay tuned. So whenever you're putting this in, you want to use a little bit of soap or something to...
I already did that.
Put it in there, and then just kind of pull it through. We're using a valve core tool and just threading it on and giving it a slight pull. Boom, there it went. What I do is I put both fingers in like this and kind of braced up against the side there so that I could pull it on through. Applying constant pressure. Okay guys, so we've soaked up our bead here, and now we're just going to drop it over, and you may have to put it on the bucket earlier, but I'm going to try doing it without putting it on the bucket first, because that way you can see it a little better. There it goes. Pretty easy.
Star 99
So now we're going to need to put it on a bucket so that we can get it to go farther down, and we can sandwich that beadlock on it. Okay. Okay. So now we've got it sitting on the bucket so it can freely lay and hang, and we're going to take the ring and we're going to put it on, and we're going to start by just running down the bolts to start with. So what I've done is I've gone around, well, I missed one, but I've gone around and I've just snugged down all of the bolts to meet up with the actual beadlock ring itself. And by doing that, I'm able to take a look and see if I'm pretty symmetrical all the way around this little line that goes around the wheel. And I am pretty symmetrical. I might try to adjust just a little bit, but it seems to be pretty symmetrical all the way around, so we can go ahead and get started actually putting some torque onto them. And it starts out at 10 foot-pounds and works your way up to 18 foot-pounds on the torque. Okay, so I'm gonna run them down a little bit more with this, and then I'm gonna number all of them, and when I number them, that's when I'll start torquing. Let's see here. So there is a total of 32 bolts all the way around. I'm going to work my way around. So I'm actually going to start off with 1 and go to 16. And then I'm going to go from there, I'm going to go to 24 and 8.
Look at that, you've already messed up your map.
No, I haven't. So from here, I'm just going to go around and continue doing what I'm doing, and I'll get back to you whenever I get to the torquing phase. Okay, so I think that I'm fixing to make my last round on torquing these to 18. So I torqued them down to 10, and I went 4 rounds on 10. This is my 4th round, I believe, on 18, so hopefully this will actually get it all the way to where it's fully torqued down. But we're going to go around it and torque it again to 18 one more time, and hopefully that's got it, and then we'll go back and check it again, double check, just to be sure, and then we'll go and throw some air in it. Okay guys, so there we have it. We have finished torquing them to 18 foot-pounds. It took quite a few times. On this next one, we're going to run them down a little farther before we put the torque wrench on it, because to be honest with you, I really don't think it was necessary to, you know, to break the torque wrench out quite so early. So we're going to get them a lot closer to flush before we do it this next time, and see if we can't save ourselves some time with the torque wrench, because that just took me about 40 minutes, 45 minutes to torque one. So we're just going to try to do it a little quicker this next round. Okay, so Mike's compressor here doesn't work great, so we're going to use this power tank to actually air it up to begin with, and to set our bead and everything on the back side, and then we're going to go ahead and take and put the rest and fill it up with air after that. So we're going to use the power tank to shoot some air into it real quick, but first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the valve stem with this little valve stem tool so that it'll go in nice and quick. We're going to inflate it to 30 psi to start.
How are we? It looks good. It just
it didn't make the visible pop.
It didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty well set now, but it did not make the visible pop, the audible pop. I mean, I'm gonna fill it up to 30 just to be sure, and then I'm gonna let some of it out and fill it up there. About 29.3, and 30 is the max, so we're stopping right there. The bead appears to be set well. Yeah, it looked good all the way around. So we're going to let some air out and put the valve stem in, and then we're going to put air back in it and fill it back up. All right, so now we're going to fill it back up to 30. What do you run yours at, Mike?
27.
27 psi.
On the road, yeah.
And that's what he runs on the road. So and then we're going to go back and we're going to check the torques again, and we'll be done with this one. All right, so there we are at 27. Hey guys, so we got them mounted up, and they're ready to go off to be balanced and everything. We just weighed them, 123 pounds, which is really surprising because I was expecting about 150 or better. But it looks like they're 123 pounds apiece, which is really not that bad when you consider it's beadlocks and 37. So, you know, that's not too awful bad. But it's definitely a tough job. It's not something that you want to take on lightly, or if you're pressed for time. I would say you need at least 2 or 3 hours to do this in the garage yourself, and just take your time and get it done right. But it's definitely doable. So that's all I've got for you today. This is Kevin, and I hope to see you on the trail.